One of these is not 5 of these.
Seems like people have found Marshall recently. Marshall never went away. This is what I think is Marshall's gift to the people. This is the amp that is Marshall's gift to the common man. Yes, you can buy a Plexi, you can buy a JTM, you can buy a JCM 800, and you can get any of the Marshalls that have come out in the past. But for me, this amp here, all 12 kilograms of it, is the Marshall Class 5. The Marshall Class 5 is it's an absolute little gem of an amplifier. It's really small and light and convenient. It looks like a blues breaker. Yes, it's squarer than the twin JTM 45 that came out all those years ago, that really, I think, brought that Marshall sound. I know that Marshall came out of solving a problem. What they did was bring a solution that lasted and brought amplifiers to the forefront as that component that make electric guitars, they're part of the instrument, really. So let's talk about this particular amp and why I think it's the gift. It's simple. It has, as you can see here, not a lot of controls. We've got a volume, middle, treble and bass, not in that order. Around the back of this amp, you can select headphones or cabinet.
So why do I think that they are a gift to mankind? Well, this is how you get an authentic classic Marshall sound that everybody was kind of hankering for, that Plexi sound, up until the late 70s when Van Halen came along with the Brown sound. Now, as you know, the Brown sound was still a Plexi, but it was just modified somewhat. This can get you all the tones up to that point, but here's the thing, and here's the secret to it: it has a great clean sound. And there was something around my generation of musicians, the millennials, who missed out on knowing, I think, in the zeitgeist of learning guitar, we missed out on knowing that Marshalls had a great clean sound. And I think this is why. When I was a lad, back in the day, the current Marshall lineup was DSL and TSL models and JCM 900s. So the JCM 900s were ubiquitous, and then the accessible amps for people like myself were the solid state and the valve state amps. And the clean sounds on those were just something to be desired. They were flat, they were quite relatively unresponsive. This has loads of warmth, thickness and inspiration that just comes out of the amp. It just drips out of it. I will practice and play with this at number 2 to 3. That's when it kind of comes to life. But everything else after that, it kind of gets too loud for your house use. So practicing, you can play this with a band on half volume, and it's plenty loud enough, really, unless your drummers are, overplaying. And that's the thing. So you can get that nice clean sound. Now, I use amps with more headroom sometimes. So I use amps. I used to use a Marshall Plexi 50 watt. When I start engaging overdrive pedals and boosts, you would see that level jump up. With this, you can still get to that point, especially at half volume. After that, you start losing that jump up when you engage your pedals, if you want to try and kind of boost that way. But here's the thing. Use your volume knob on your guitar, and then suddenly you've got a whole world of cleanness and control over your pickup sound. This is really cool. I'm going to play some demos on it and you can hear it. These amps are a little bit of a gem. They're easy to get hold of. There's usually sort of where I am in the UK. I did a trade on this. It was up for sale for £200 for me, that's a steal. Like, what else are you going to get? Okay, you could get on the used market. You could get let's think. You could get Black Star, right? The Black Star is nothing like this. It's not. It won't touch this. You could get. You're halfway towards a Blues Junior. You're halfway towards an AC15 or an AC30, something like that. This isn't the same kind of thing, really. This is the 5 watt world of amps where you can pick it up really easily, take it along. Weighs a little bit like my Tone Master. Take it along to things. It has 3 valves to deal with, so a revalve will cost you about, I don't know, 60, yeah, because you've got one power amp valve, which is an EL84 and two ECC83s or 12AX7s. As you might know, you can mess around with that. If you want more clean headroom, you could probably put an AY7 in your first preamp tube. Changing tubes is not a daunting task on this. It's very easy to unscrew the back, unscrew the top of the chassis. I will have another video on this so you can see for yourself just how quick and easy, where I change the tubes in less than 5 minutes. It's very easy to do. But it's back to basics. It's a volume preamp section. After the preamp section is the tone section, which is quite cool because it really takes on board your movements on there. You can stick your pedals in front of it. It doesn't have an effects loop. Doesn't have anything. On the forums, people talk about a little hidden feature. So you can plug... I don't know. I'm not going to do this because I'm just haven't got the time in my life to be doing this. But you could rewire the speaker cable so that it goes into a jack, right? And then the jack could go into there. And then if ever you want to use a smaller power output, you could switch it to this, which will then put the load onto the headphones and it will soak up the load. So you're not going to damage your amp. And then you can half plug in, because it's stereo input on headphones, you could half plug in to there, and then you'll have a 0.2 watt version of the amp coming out of the main speaker if you want to do that. In my experience, that sort of thing, it's a lot of faff when you can just turn it down. And if you need a 1 watt Marshall, there are some 1 watt options, I'm sure. But this is a really good level of amp. It really is what it is. It's a clean design. It's a beautiful little thing. You could keep it in your living room, and you know, it looks like you've got a tiny blues breaker, doesn't it? But it's a really cool, well built, rugged little amp. Circuit board looks cool on it. It doesn't look like it's you know, some things, some amps, when you open them up now, they just look like a computer, and if something's going to break, you are done for. This looks, you can see chipsets, and you can see things that are just wired to a board, and you know, you could unsolder and solder something else on, like the caps or whatever, if you wanted to. It's, you know, it's a simple but beautiful thing, and simplicity can be beauty, as we all know as guitar players. And sometimes it's nice just to have a tube amp to crank up. I am a guy who uses a lot of modelling live for the practical reasons, and I can load in quicker and be ready. But having something like this in my life that's visceral, loud, and you can make it obnoxious, or you can make it really sing and be a beautiful thing, is a great thing to have. All the videos that I make are a result of support from the community of people who watch our videos, and you can support the channel by subscribing. That's all I'm asking for people to do. I do have affiliate links on Amazon. If you're interested in kit, you can go on there. I get a little kickback. I'm not going to bother you about it because I've got like £12 after doing it for 6 months, right? So it's not like, it's not that important to me. I'd rather everyone just has a good time here on the channel. Let me know in the comments, have you found an amp that's actually like a bit of a gift from an amp company? It could be, you know, from any company. I do like that kind of interesting thing. Something to leave you with. One of these is not 5 of these. This is a 1 watt. This is a 5 watt. But they're just nowhere near. And having owned an old Marshall Master Volume, that is not, you know, 10 of these. Okay? So there's no maths involved in this. It's just that this is a lovely thing. It gets a great clean sound. People don't realise how good the Marshall Clean Sound is, but for me, this is the absolute gift of Marshall, and along with a lot of their other amps, but this is a great one that you could pick up for not a lot of money at the moment. One day, mark my words, people, one day these will be fetching a lot of money. Don't go out and buy them just to store them though, but they are a beautiful little thing for not a lot of money and bring joy to my life. Thank you for watching. See you next time.